Hello, folks. You are cordially invited to the Martian Madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, this is a little podcast that my name's Ryan, and my boyfriend Martin,
Hello.
or known as just Martin on YouTube, decided to start. And for this first episode, we are going to be talking movies. Other episodes might not be talking about movies, they may be covering all sorts of subjects. But for this first one, we're going to be covering our picks for the 10 best movies of 2024 so far.
Yeah, really excited. People have been wanting us to do this. I think they love hearing our sexy voices.
Fun fact, I did have a podcast like this with my brother where I did episodes like this, ranking our favorite movies of the year. But he lives far away now, and I no longer live with him, and I think I wanted to do it with Martin because I love him.
I love you too, babe. And we see a lot of movies together.
Yeah.
We love movies, okay?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah, and we kind of are around each other all the time, so I think it's just fun. We have conversations that we're like, we should be filming this all the time.
And he exposes me to older movies that I have never seen, and I convince him to go see new movies he wouldn't have seen.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a good chance that there's going to be movies on his list that he wouldn't have gone to see had I not convinced him to.
Actually, plenty.
Ooh, that's interesting. I'm excited because neither of us know each other's lists, and it is going to be top 10 format. And so the way that I like to do this format is that we basically take turns running down our ranking.
Okay.
So I start with my number 10. He says his number 10. He says his number 9. I say my number 9.
Oh, I got you. It's like a ping pong.
Yes, I like that format. And sometimes it can get a little kooky if we end up having the same movies lined up together. But it'll work out. It'll work out. So,
well, I'm excited.
Without further ado, I want you to start kick us off and tell me what your 10th favorite movie of the year 2024 has been so far.
It was hard, actually.
It was hard
doing this for the first time. I feel like picking a movie compared to different movies in just a 10 spot list is really hard.
I find the 10th spot is always the hardest.
Right. So I feel like my 10th movie would be The Bike Riders.
The Bike Riders, good movie. I'm gonna say it right now that this movie is an honorable mention for me.
Oh, it didn't make the top?
It almost made my top 10.
Oh, wow. We seen it the other day, and I usually love movies like this based in the 60s, 70s, 50s, whatever. Motorcycle gangs, them looking like the greasers from Grease. I love it.
Yes. And the good casting, it's got, Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, I think is her name, from Killing Eve. And I loved her in The Last Duel. Nobody saw The Last Duel, but it was my favorite movie that year.
Was that his wife?
The wife character.
I loved her.
Yeah, she's really good.
In this movie, she was great. The way she talks,
you should watch Killing Eve. I feel like you'd be into that show.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's got Sandra Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my top 10. That'd be number 10.
Your number 10. Do you want to? So you talked briefly about what you liked. Is there anything else you want to share that makes it?
I loved the acting in it. I think all the characters were great. There was this guy named Corky. Yeah. I feel like just having certain people.
I did highlight the leads, but even the small actors in the film, just do good jobs.
They made an impact.
Like
what's his name, Bug or Cockroach or something?
Cockroach, yeah. I empathize for a man named Cockroach.
Yeah.
And Michael Shannon has a role as one of the bikers, and I think he stands out in a scene that's just it was a great movie. It's a strong movie.
I definitely was not bored at all in that.
Inspired by true events.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, since you've done your number 10, I guess it's time for mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the one where I had a debate on what was making my top 10.
Okay.
And my number 10, and I ended up just trying to think which of these movies gives me the most positive feelings to think about. And I ended up going with Lisa Frankenstein.
Wow.
Yes. The way that I describe this movie, and I'm actually going to use it to describe another movie later on my list, is like this movie would have been like on repeat if I had grown up with it.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly. Like
It has that feel.
it's got like a homey feel. It like feels like nostalgic.
It's like right under Goonies
Part of it's because it's set in the 80s, which is weird because I didn't live in the 80s, but there you feel nostalgia for it because you like watched 80s movies growing up, like the Goonies. But like it just has this feel to it, and I like both of the leads. I've never learned that actress's name, which I feel bad about, but she's been in many things, including Abigail this year, and I always remember her being in the Pokemon movie for some reason, Detective Pikachu.
And Bravo, Robin Williams' daughter, directed that movie.
Yes, Zelda Williams. And the movie didn't do very good commercially, which I think is a shame because it is like a delight, and I feel like it'll go on to get some level of like cult classic status. Yeah. So with that done, I suppose I'll move into my number 9. And my number 9 is so some of the movies on my list are going to be movies that say they came out in 2023 and are like qualified for 2023 Oscars, but I was not able to watch them until January. So this movie is from last year, and it's a movie called All of Us Strangers. Now this movie starring I believe his name is Andrew Scott, famous for, I always think of him from being in Sherlock as Moriarty. He's also in the show Fleabag, if people have ever seen that,
I've never
as
seen
the
that.
sexy priest. But so basically the plot of the movie is this gay man goes back to his childhood home to visit, and he finds his parents there, but his parents died when he was young, and the parents he sees there are the same age as they were when he was a child, and they're basically his age. So he returns and he finds them there, and he's able to like talk with them and like sort of have hard conversations with them, partially like at certain points talking about his sexuality, or just catching up with them because he misses them so much. And at the same time, he's also like developing a relationship with another man played by Paul Mescal, I believe is his name. And yeah, it's just a very interesting movie to watch.
I remember you actually talking about it. Yeah. At first I didn't know what it was, but yes,
because you didn't want to see it because you don't like want to see movies where like people are banging, and there is some like sex in this movie, but it's not like gratuitous, I don't think. But yeah, like I think it's a fantastic film. I think it should have gotten some Oscar noms, but I don't think it ended up getting any, which is a shame. It's it may have gotten like a writing nomination, but it didn't win anything. And yeah, it's just and there's a something that is revealed later on that I found to be quite intriguing for the plot of the movie as a whole.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
All right. With that, my number 9.
Number 9
would be Boy Kills World. Bill Skarsgård did amazing, and for him not having any kind of voice, and for him just focusing solely on the action aspect of a movie, I think it was so good. There were so many twists and turns that actually surprised me that I wasn't expecting, so I think that's what made it more intriguing to me. And I loved the voiceover commentary. I think that was a brilliant part.
Voiced by H. John Benjamin, people would recognize as Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Or Archer from Archer. Or my brain always goes back to Coach McGurk from Home Movies.
Okay. It was fun. It was really fun, action-packed. Yeah. I really liked it.
Like of the two John Wick type movies that I saw earlier this year, this and Monkey Man, I think this is the one I enjoyed more. It's fun. It has kind of like a sheen over it that's just like very glossy and hyper violent, but I dig it. I thought it was really good.
I loved it.
Yeah, I like that one. Wasn't quite an honorable mention for me, but I did enjoy it a lot, and I would recommend people go see it.
Okay.
So that goes into your number 8 now.
Oh, my number 8, yes. This was hard, actually. I didn't know where I wanted to place it, but I decided to go this route. But my number 8 would be Late Night with the Devil. I loved this movie, and I think it was so uniquely made. It takes a spin off of like a late night show, and I think that's what makes it so cool. It was so like different than what I've seen. So I would say that would be my number 8.
I also enjoyed that movie.
It's creepy.
I'm happy to see it on your list. Yeah,
It was good.
I think it's also
It's a scary
good
movie.
It definitely, and it gets scarier later on.
Oh yes.
But yeah, it is that's a solid pick. I'm gonna go into my number 8 if that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
All right, my number 8, another movie from last year, but it's American Fiction, and this movie actually got nominated for Best Picture, and it's one of the few movies that got nominated for Best Picture that I wasn't able to watch last year because it's the thing where they release it in like 2 theaters in the month of December so that it qualifies, but then it actually goes places in January.
And I didn't see this one with you either.
No. But a big takeaway I have from it is that it's one of the funniest movies I've seen in the last year, and like there's also like some soul to it. Like I feel like I have to have this movie docked. Like honestly, this movie would have been so much better if I liked how it ended more.
Okay.
But I don't love its ending. But it is hysterical. Sterling K. Brown is really good in it, and he got nominated.
The trailer looked very well.
Yeah, it's just straight up a funny movie, but it's like also like a smart movie, and so yeah, good.
Nice.
I recommend American Fiction, and I'm gonna go straight into my number 7, and for my number 7, this is probably the movie in my list that might be might be the most personal take, because I could see this movie to some people being like mediocre, but for me it made me cry far too much for me to not have it in my top 10. My number 7 is going to be the movie If.
That's such a good movie.
I loved If so much.
Ryan Reynolds did amazing.
Yes, he did. Steve Carell as Blue, who is the top 3 best imaginary friends named Blue of all time.
Yeah.
Up with Beauregard Kukazoo and Blue from Chalk Zone.
Oh, I thought you were saying Blue's Clues.
He's not, or she is not imaginary. That's a real dog.
Oh, okay.
That is a real dog.
And the girl I forget her name, but she was on Walking Dead. She's Rick's daughter. I loved it.
I didn't watch Walking Dead long enough to see that baby become a person, but apparently that's the baby.
Yes.
But yeah, like
such a cute story.
Yeah.
Didn't it get bad reviews?
It did, it was just like, I think it got like, this movie's okay reviews. Like, it's probably good on Rotten Tomatoes, but like most of the, oh, it's fine. But this is the movie earlier when I was talking about Lisa Frankenstein. This is a movie that if I saw it as a kid, if this movie existed when I was a child, I would have watched this like probably every day for like a year of my life. This probably would have been my favorite movie growing up.
All right. Nice. Okay, with that, my number 7.
Your number 7.
This is also hard. But it would have to be Thelma.
Thelma.
We just watched this today, from
yes.
the recording, and great movie. It was so... Oh, I can relate to a lot of the things that were happening. It's basically about this older lady gets scammed. It happens a lot in the world. Older people are targeted. And she travels to find the person that took her money. And on the way, there's so much that happens for this elderly woman. And she's just great. I don't know. I fell in love with the actress. I think she was just great.
Yes, I remember the first time I saw this actress, it was in the trailer for a movie I never saw, but she had one line in the trailer. I'm like, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And so anytime I see her, I just sort of perk up. I'm like, oh, I like her. I want to see her. I want to see that thing.
Yeah, she's great.
She has a charisma. I'm glad that you have it on your list, because this one I think unfortunately is just an honorable mention for me.
Oh, that's sad.
Again, it's another one that came close to Lisa Frankenstein, but I think I also want to keep some recency bias in account, that I just saw it. So maybe I'll come to like it even more over time. But it's actually, I think it's funny that this movie would come out this year because there's another movie with a very similar plot that came out this year called The Beekeeper.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. You've seen that.
Yes, so it's Jason Statham, who is friends with I think it's Felicia Rashad, who the mom from The Cosby Show.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that's her. She is an old woman that is scammed, but she is not scammed out of $10,000. She's scammed out of like $2 million from like a charity that she helps run, and in response, like kills herself, which is kind of a spoiler, but it's like at the beginning of the movie. And then Jason Statham as a beekeeper goes on to kill the people that scammed her.
Okay.
Like, so it's
very different movie.
Yeah, very similar plot, like basis. Yeah. Like it's both about how elderly people are being scammed, and there's just such a visceral feeling in both movies when you see the old person being scammed. You're just like so angry.
Yes, I was very angry.
And like I'm happy that this one definitely did not involve the old person like losing their life or even all that much money, like because it's only $10,000 in this movie, which is still a lot, but like it like the movie was more about the principle rather than this is a horrific loss.
Exactly. All right, so that would be my number 7. My number 6.
Yes.
My number 6, Babes.
Babes? Oh, that movie's
absolutely loved that movie. I went into it not thinking I would like it. I know I told you I wanted to see it, but I didn't think it was going to be good. Okay, but the relationship of the friends and the way they just fed off of each other, the storyline, it made me laugh, and I absolutely loved that movie.
No, yeah, I think that movie was actually quite funny and quite endearing.
Yes.
And like I think it falls into the category of movies like Bridesmaids, where it's like a raunchy comedy but girls. But what I think this movie does that is like feels so distinctly different than Bridesmaid is that this movie is directed by a woman and it shows. Like it like follows like a female like almost like thought process, like the way that like it's a female perspective. Like I like and it's just something you feel watching it. Like you can just watch that movie and be like, yeah, man didn't make this.
Right. In a good way. Like it was very
like Bridesmaids,
female driven.
Bridesmaids is really funny, but you're like, yeah, I could see a man having made this.
Right.
But this movie, like, it's very feminine.
It's great.
But it's very good.
It has like parts where it's just, like it makes you cringe, but in a funny way.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, without giving anything away. But definitely a must watch for people.
Also has a good cast. I can't remember the two leads' names. One of them's from Broad City. The other one is on a lot of like Netflix shows. Like she hosts like The Circle, I think. And Hassan Minhaj from The Daily Show. I keep naming actors. I don't know if it helps people if y'all know these names, but I just want to give credit to good acting performances when I can remember them.
Okay.
But now that we have that, I go into my number 6.
Yes.
So my number 6 is another movie you have not seen, and I think most people have not seen and maybe not even heard of, but it was nominated for Best International Feature Film.
Yep, I didn't see it.
And this movie is called The Teacher's Lounge.
Yeah, I didn't.
And basically, I'll give like the basic setup of the plot. It's about a teacher who's kind of new to the school. I can't remember what country this is, so I feel bad about that. But it might be like Denmark or something. It's European something.
Okay.
But so this new teacher at a school, and at the school they've been experiencing a lot of thefts. Like stuff is like ending up stolen. And so what this teacher decides to do one day is she sort of just decides to set up a camera in the teacher's lounge and leaves her wallet in her coat unattended with a camera looking at the wallet, and like basically just to test like, oh, I wonder, because they've been suspecting students, but she was like, she just decides to do this and only a teacher or staff could be in this room.
Right.
And then when she comes back, she is able to identify basically a hand with a certain shirt pattern stealing money, and the person that she has to accuse is like someone she was friends with and has a kid at the school, and she does accuse this person.
Oh man.
And so
how awkward.
Yeah, but like the whole film's about like the ratcheting tension from that, and this woman denying that she stole it because technically you can't fully prove it. Like she had the right shirt in the image, but you don't see her face, so she takes the decision to deny it. And then this kid whose mom is seen as a thief, like starts to experiencing issues. Like it's such a good movie, and like just gets more and more tense over time. It just like it's a really good film.
Okay, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, like you just have to get over the subtitle barrier to watch it and find it, but I think it's definitely worthwhile.
Okay. Nice.
So is that...
You're going to your number 5.
My number 5?
Your number 5, babe.
My number 5, I know that this is going to be on your list. I know that
you don't know that.
I know this is going to be on your list. I think it's probably going to be in your top 3, maybe top 2.
Okay. So
my number 5... we're in our top 5s, by the way.
I know.
My number 5 is Inside Out 2.
Okay.
So Inside Out 1, can I just say, is one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's like in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's very close to number 1, to be honest, but Inside Out 1 is phenomenal. Inside Out 2 is as good as I think they could have made a sequel to that first movie. And it's good in so many ways, and it's funnier than the first one.
Yes.
And it
made you cringe like crazy.
It made me...
He literally turned around and did not look at the screen.
Because it made me feel the embarrassment that Riley was feeling. It made me feel the anxiety that Riley was feeling. It's crazy. I actually think this movie like works on a level better than I even give myself... I give it credit for. It's actually a very good movie. Yeah, like...
It was made with love.
Yes.
Like, they really made sure it was good.
I also just want to note, my next 4 movies are all movies that I absolutely love. Like, all these movies right now are, like, A's. My top 3 are all, like, A+, basically, to me. Inside Out 2 is great.
All right.
I assume you're going to talk about it later, so I'll end for now and go into your number 5.
All right, so my number 5 would be If.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling you liked this movie,
It was good. We were both crying.
Yes.
So much in the theater. Like, I've never seen you cry in a movie theater. And just seeing you cry so much, I was like, whoa, what is going on?
And I cried like at multiple occasions in the film.
And after watching it, I stopped, and the more you thought about the movie, the more things connected. And you're like, oh, that is why this happened. This is why that happened. It was great. Like I said, I don't want to go too much into it again since we talked about it already, but...
It feels like it was made with love.
It was. It was a great movie.
John Krasinski, I don't think we mentioned him before. Like, this is like his sort of baby. And he has another movie that came out called A Quiet Place Part 2. Well, that's... or Day 1. He directed the first Quiet Place.
The guy that made If?
Yeah, John Krasinski.
That's a very different type of movie.
Yeah, he directed both of those movies. And do you know who he is?
No.
He's Jim from The Office.
I've never seen The Office. But
he's the dad in A Quiet Place. And
yes. I know he is.
And he's married to Emily Blunt.
Yes, I remember. Yes. Wow, that just shows that he can make 2 very different movies.
Yes, but the most recent Quiet Place is a different director.
Right.
But he still gets writing credit because he came up with the original Quiet Place story, or him and someone else. But anyways. If is great.
Yeah,
I'm glad you have it.
Yeah, that'd be my number 5. Going on to my number 4, The Fall Guy.
The Fall Guy.
I loved this movie, everyone. I could not stop laughing. I was never bored. The action is amazing. And I love, I can never remember her name. What's her name? Emily Blunt?
I just said her name.
Is it Blunt?
Emily Blunt, yeah.
She was great.
Sister to Felicity Blunt.
Yes, she was very great. I loved it. The storyline was great. What's the main guy? Ken?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. So I say Ken. But Ryan Gosling did amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's funny because it is the Ken Kitty team up of
they did like an
Barbie,
SNL
Oppenheimer.
thing.
Yes, they did an SNL thing. They referenced it at the Oscars.
Yes.
They're very keenly aware of how funny it is that it's the love interest of those two biggest movies of last year.
Oh yeah, it was good. I
Uh,
could not. It was great. That's why it's my number 4. Like
Side note, real quick, better Ryan Gosling or Reynolds?
Reynolds.
You were supposed to say Bane.
No. Right.
I picked
That was
Gosling.
good.
I picked Gosling.
No.
Love you.
Love you.
All right, so but yeah, Fall Guy, it's a fun movie. Like again, like that movie kind of underperformed. Like not enough
That's
people went to
wild.
see it. Yeah, I do. I agree that it's wild, and it was like the director was like a former stuntman, I believe, and
Yes.
so there was it gives a lot of love to the
The
art
behind
and the
the
craft
scenes.
of stunt work.
The people that aren't really like mentioned, the people that are behind the scenes that no one thinks about, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes. Good movie. Solid choice. My number 4
What is your number 4, babe?
is another movie you have not seen.
Of course.
And so this is a movie that has no dialogue, and it's an animated movie, and it was nominated for Best
Oh.
Animated Feature.
Okay.
And it's called Robot Dreams.
Yep. I seen the trailer of that.
It is such a delight. Like I said, no dialogue, so there's no talking throughout the whole movie. Everything's sort of conveyed with like either written words, emotions. Like there are songs in it, like September by Earth, Wind and Fire features prominently in it. And so like it's not like completely silent, but
Right.
like this movie's just such a delight.
Okay.
And it's got like it like has to deal with like a robot who orders a dog that orders a robot. This is like a world where like there's animals instead of people. Dog orders a robot friend because he has no one to be with, and then they become fast friends. Like they become like basically like inseparable, and then something causes them to be separated. And most of the movie deals with them being separated,
Okay.
and it's very good.
It must have been good to be on your top 4.
Yeah, like no, this movie's like seriously good, and it was nominated for Best Animated Movie, beating out a lot of good movies that were animated last year.
Okay.
So I recommend it. So is that my number 3 then, or do you have your number 4?
No, it's your number 3.
My number 3.
I
All
haven't
right.
done a 3 yet.
So I didn't talk about this movie a lot when you brought it up earlier because it was in my number 3 spot.
What is it?
Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, that's
I dug the hell out of this movie.
I mean, it's a good movie.
and you did talk about it earlier, but like just like the setup of like the sort of late night talk show in the 70s, like the vibe,
Halloween special.
yeah, the vibe that it sets like for the whole movie, just like I'm invested in it, like the way that it's like a found footage type deal where like, but it's found footage with like studio cameras, so like it's all looks good, but it still has this eeriness because you know that something's gonna go down.
Yep.
But you don't know what the something is, and then like the little signs that like just it's like a slow drip until like you basically have this whole thing, and it's just so good.
And the fact that it was just like a Halloween special, so no one, like without giving anything away, people thought it was part of the show. A lot of things. You know?
Like
it was
like,
great.
And because there's miscommunication, some people are thinking, oh yeah, they planned this about things that like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
No, they weren't planned. Something's going on.
Yeah.
And so like a character that is introduced early in the movie has a fate that is revealed later on.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Very good.
Love it. Your number 3.
My number 3, since we're in the genre, is gonna be, and you might know what I'm then about to say.
Maybe.
My number 3 is In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature.
This is an indie film. All right, you guys, this was on Shudder or the creators. Okay. It's literally a POV of the serial killer. Usually with like Friday the 13th franchise, Halloween franchises, or any kind of scary movie with a slasher, you're always following a group of teenagers, right? And you see the killer behind a bush, behind here. But this movie, was a total 180. This movie is you're behind the serial killer, planning on attacking and looking at the group of kids or teenagers, and the kills in this movie are out of this world insane. I thought I've seen everything.
One in particular,
Right, which we're not giving away.
But like, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what we're talking about.
But I just feel like I have not seen these kind of kills in a movie before. It was great.
The killer gives definitely like a Jason vibe.
Jason Voorhees vibe.
And you had the mentioning that you would like to see this basically sort of take over in Friday the 13th.
And I say that not because I don't like Jason, it's just there's so much legal battles going on with the Friday the 13th franchise. It doesn't look like we're ever going to get another movie. But yes, I would like this character to kind of replace the movie aspect of Friday the 13th.
And like Jason, you hope that they will replace the mask.
Stupid mask.
Jason didn't always have a hockey mask, and this guy, he has the opportunity to get a better mask.
Right. But it was great. I loved it. I'm going to buy it when it's available to buy. I will own it on DVD. That's one movie I really want in the collection.
DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's easier to say DVD. I get what you meant.
And I can't wait to show friends and family or just that kill. The one we know.
Yes, it's very good. Great movie.
I love the idea, the storyline. I love everything about this movie. I really love it. So that would be my number 3.
And we're going into our top 2. I have a feeling, I thought that there was going to be a movie in your top 2 that's in my top 2, but I have a feeling that the movie I thought was going to be on your list didn't make your list at all.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out.
Yes.
So, my top 2.
Your number 2? What is it?
Lisa Frankenstein.
Really?
I love that movie.
I did not expect that.
Babe, that movie.
Well, I thought you might have it on your list because I had it in mine, but I didn't expect it that high.
It's high. It was so original. It was such a feel-good, like you said, nostalgic, even though I've never seen it and it's new. I feel like it's been out there forever.
Yeah.
It was great. I could watch that movie 100 times a day and I'll never get tired of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's refreshing.
I'm so happy that it made your list. Oh, wow. Like, I'm even more, like maybe I definitely don't know what your number 1 is right now.
Babe, it was such a good movie.
Oh, wow.
It was such a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, I didn't talk about Cole Sprouse earlier.
Cole Sprouse did great, even though he didn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good acting.
Yes,
what do you
like
call
zombie
that?
acting.
Is it just nonverbal act? There's a word.
Like
action. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
It was great.
Like he's basically a mime.
I loved it, and I'm never gonna get tired of that movie.
No, yeah, I'm so happy to see that made your number 2.
Yes.
All right, my number 2 is a movie with the number 2 in the title, and it is. I feel so strange loving this movie so much when I didn't like the first one all that much, but it's Dune, baby. It's Dune Part 2.
Dune?
Yeah, Dune
Part 2. I was going
to
add that.
It was my number 1 until my number 1 came out. Like, I was like, no, this movie was supposed to come out last year, and if it did, I think it would have stolen a lot of awards from Oppenheimer, and I think it's gonna win a ton of awards next year. This movie's incredible.
I got the pleasure to. I've never watched Part 1, so we watched Part 1 the day before we watched Part 2, so I was fresh in the game.
Yeah, that was also a great decision on my part because I forgot a lot, and it made like the whole thing make so much more sense and like make it easier to follow along. Austin Butler, I just want to say I hope that his like role in this movie is not like overlooked. Like I legitimately think he deserves to get like an Oscar nom for his role in the movie, and it's not a huge role, but like his just performance. Like this is the dude that was Elvis.
Yeah.
This dude's in the Bike Riders. Like
yeah.
But he's like giving something entirely different in Dune Part 2. But a fantastic cast all around.
I loved the mom.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, I loved her on Part 1. I fell in love with the mom. And then Part 2, I just did not like her in that. Well, but she was a great actress in that.
Yeah, and she's in, I always remember her from Doctor Sleep.
Yes, she is in that.
Yes, Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya, who had a banger year for me so far, and I'll leave it at that for now. But yeah, Dune Part 2, so good.
Yeah,
So good.
I agree.
All right, so, and you just said you're number 2, so I guess I get to reveal my number 1 right now.
Oh my god.
And I'm bringing Zendaya right back up because my number 1
oh
movie
my gosh,
is
I know
Challengers.
the tennis one.
This movie is so good.
Oh
This
Lord.
movie is insanely good. When I tell you, like towards the end of this movie, I was like leaning forward in my chair, like gripping the seat, like oh my god, like this movie is incredible. Like, this movie is better than every movie that came out last year.
That's
like,
wild.
Hands down, this is better than my favorite movie
It just
of last
doesn't look
year.
good.
It's so good. And, like, it's sold as, like, the sex movie. Like,
It did. All over the place.
Like, there's the threesome scene that is shown in trailers. They don't even have sex. They just make out. And there's like one other scene where like they almost hook up and then nothing happens. No sex occurs. Yeah, like but there is a sex to it. Like there's like a sensual nature to the film
Right.
and a driving force. Like there's this music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, the 9 Inch Nails guys. They do the soundtrack and it's phenomenal. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about
Tennis players are a crazy wild bunch. I like
Challengers.
to have 3 ways.
Apparently, but yeah, Challengers is so good. It's so good. I want you to watch it so you can understand.
I will eventually. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it.
He's against it.
No.
He hates Zendaya. That's why he doesn't have Dune on his list, because he hates Zendaya.
It was on my list,
Until
and I took it off.
Because of Thelma?
It was
Yeah.
actually after we watched the Bike Riders and Thelma.
All right.
I had to adjust things.
So
My-
I just want to note right now, I was pretty sure about Inside Out being on your list before, and maybe it's your number 1 right now, but I don't know if your number 1's about to be Inside Out 2 or if it's about to be A Quiet Place.
Okay.
Because I thought both of those movies were going to make your list, but apparently one of them is not.
Right. So, segue to my number 1
Yes.
is Inside Out 2.
I knew it. I knew
It- I think after we got out of the theaters, I told Ryan that I think it was better than part 1. He looked at me with crazy eyes. But
I loved
that's
it.
how much I loved this movie. I think the transition to part 1 to this, her growing up, things happening, just funny things, like, it was just great to me. I think everything about it was great. I think Anxiety was amazing. I think all the new characters were great. They were cute.
Yeah, I love. You know what? I want to bring in Thelma too because Nostalgia is played by the lady from Thelma.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
she's nostalgia.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, you'll know what that is.
But yeah, so it's Maya Hawke as Anxiety, and of course Amy Poehler's back.
Why does Anxiety remind me of Emma Stone?
Because
Is that weird to say?
because it's orange.
No, it sounded like Emma Stone at first. I thought it was Emma Stone.
I get where you're coming from. It does
Yeah.
kind of sound like Emma Stone, but it is Maya Hawke, who I love. Of course, most people know her probably from Stranger Things, but you know she's a good actress. That Maya Hawke.
Yeah.
She's a nepo baby, but she's a nepo baby I don't mind.
Sadness actually was great in this movie. She annoyed
Phyllis
me.
from The Office.
She annoyed me on part 1. And the reason being is she just messed things up. She was, and I get it, okay, you're sad, but this one, she definitely was like one of the all-stars in this movie, I want to say.
I think this actually shows maybe why you think that Inside Out 2 is better than Inside Out 1, because Sadness wasn't the cause of all the problems in Inside Out 1. The cause of the problems was Joy not accepting that Sadness had a legitimate role to play and trying to prevent sadness when sadness you can't just try to wash it away. Like it's important to embrace it. And like what Sadness was doing was, could it, like, if if you're able to express your sadness more freely, then you can allow yourself to feel joy more authentically.
Hallelujah. Can I want to mention? I only had one honorable mention
Okay, yes.
because you've named a couple, but my only one I had was A Quiet Place 2, and trust me, you guys, we've been going to the movies. I mean, we go see movies all the time, and I am tired. At this point, I was tired of seeing the trailer to Quiet Place 2. It was repetitive. It was so much, and it kind of like put a bad taste in my mouth. But after watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. They know what they were doing, adding the cat and these little things in a movie that would just make you like stress out. I was stressed out, but in a good way because it made the movie better.
Yeah, I was legitimately a little worried about this movie because I felt like there was no way like it felt like the Quiet Place franchise was sort of being like, oh, they're doing too much with it. They're kind of wearing out the magic of the original. And I don't think it's as good as the original.
No,
but it's definitely better than part 2.
I'm just are they going to make another prequel because I don't know why the alien things came to Earth.
Yeah, and
like
they keep
don't
going
explain.
back. Like, the second one was also kind of going back to square one, at least, like, and then it's going into stuff after, but you, like, see a lot more of the day one.
Right.
But it's in a small town, and this one's in New York. But yeah, it's a good movie. I dig it. I have 2 other honorable mentions that I wanted to bring up. One of them is a movie called Perfect Days, which was nominated for Best International Feature. It's Japanese, and it's about a guy that cleans toilets.
Oh, wow.
Just going through every day of his life. And he just does such a great job. He's a great actor, and it's a delight to watch. And my other honorable mention, like, honestly, was probably my number 11. And you're gonna think I'm so wild for this, but it's Sasquatch Sunset. This movie rules.
Wow, I did not expect that.
It is legitimately good. I've heard people say, like, because it is like its own thing in so many ways. I just left the movie like that movie had an impact on me as a person.
Oh wow!
And it rocks. Sasquatch Sunset is slept on.
I don't
great movie.
Agree 100%. I can agree that for it being what it was, and stop it. He's doing the motions, you guys. The damn Sasquatch is wanting to fuck.
Yeah, they like put their hands together.
Like Rochambeau kind of, but horizontally.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. Would I buy it? No. Would I watch it again? No, I would not.
No, yeah, you don't like this movie. You don't have to pretend. And you were upset at how much I was doing the
yes,
noise.
I was.
After that movie. I only stopped doing it because it annoyed you. I would still be doing it to this day, every second of the day. I would have learned the Sasquatch language.
So we are doing 3 movies that we hated.
Oh yes, worst of the year so far.
Yes, just 3 each. We decided on that.
Yes.
Do you want to go or me?
I want to hear your 3 first.
Oh, am I naming all of them?
Just go through all of your 3.
So, Garfield.
That's my number 4.
Do you know how...
That almost made it for me.
You know how hard that is for me? I love Garfield.
He was so excited. I was
so excited from the first trailer.
I wanted to be excited, but like the first trailer was promising. The next trailer, like where I saw it was about like him and his dad, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look good.
Babe, I cannot tell you.
It to be good though.
I was so bummed out. I wanted to like this movie a lot. I wanted to buy merch. I wanted to buy the DVD.
We bought a popcorn bucket.
I love that popcorn bucket.
It's good because it just looks like Garfield.
Yes, so I do love the popcorn bucket we got. But the movie, this movie actually made me want to leave the theater. I can't remember the last time I felt that way. Like, I was antsy. I was moving back and forth in the chair. I just wanted to get up and go. I was like, I'd rather just be home and playing a video game or watching a movie at home. I did not want to be in it.
This is my number 4.
So, unfortunately, Garfield, I love you, but this movie sucked.
Yeah. And I do not blame Chris Pratt. It's just a bad movie.
I blame Chris Pratt. My second, The Strangers, Chapter 1.
That's my number 5.
I could not stand this movie. It is literally a carbon copy with a slight zest of a certain seasoning from the original part 1. It was a waste of my time. I just did not like it. It was so predictable. And yes, scary movies are predictable, but this one was literally, I didn't jump. I didn't say. I was just kind of like, oh, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen.
It really was just carbon copy of the first one.
It was dumb. Don't waste your money if you haven't seen it.
Can I guess your number one?
Yeah.
Because you're literally like going through like the two movies that almost made my bottom three. I'm gonna guess your last one was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. I didn't really care for that movie.
That movie's not good.
I liked the other ones. I think the more they go, the more boring
right.
it gets.
So what is your actual number one?
My number one would be the Bob Marley One Love.
Really?
I did not like that movie.
No, I agreed it wasn't good.
There was no... Okay, here's my thing. I don't listen to Bob Marley. I don't really know anything about him. So going into this movie, I was excited because I wanted to learn about him. But all this... It was literally just... I feel like it was rushed. I feel like they didn't take the time and love like they did Bohemian Rhapsody. They didn't take the time like they did with Elton John's movie. Or all these biopics that they're doing, right? It was rushed. I did not like it. It didn't explain anything to me.
I'm surprised it's your least favorite of the year, but I also did not like this movie.
It wasn't good. I wanted to like it.
Yeah, it's...
I wanted to learn.
He deserves a better movie.
He does.
Is a big thing.
He really does.
To it. All right, so let me go through my bottom three. Number 3 is going to be the movie Lift, which was a Netflix original. It's like a Kevin Hart like crime movie where like these thieves team up with the authorities to steal something from another bad guy. Oh my god, it's one of those. It's so bad. It's put in a genre of Red Notice movies.
Okay.
Like the movie Red Notice that came on Netflix.
With The Rock?
Yeah,
okay.
And Ryan Reynolds
yes.
and Gal Gadot. I actually like that movie, but since that movie, there's just like movies that kind of like all look the same, all have the same feel, and are just like put on Netflix, and they're not like all that much care is put into it, but they put names in it so that people will watch it. And this movie was just not good at all.
Okay.
And it's bad.
Okay.
My second worst of the year is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
You're a hater. You're a hater.
Awful.
It was not bad.
It was so bad. It's the worst Ghostbusters movie. Like I was like you wanted to leave the theater for the Garfield movie. Like,
you wanted to leave it for this one?
I like a little bit.
Wow. I don't think it was that bad. I really liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was like the freaking the ghost that like the main girl like played chess with.
Oh yes.
And like had like a low key
lesbian relationship.
But like they didn't explicitly say it. Like where does like okay, whatever, cool. Like the freaking the idea of the ghosts in the Ghostbusters world, I feel like they just throw all the rules out the book for this movie. Like it's just not good, and I feel like people need to accept that.
I'm not accepting that. I will never accept that.
It's the worst Ghostbusters.
You got Bill
movie.
Murray. You got Slimer. You got Dan Aykroyd. That's all I need. Oh, and the guy, the one that doesn't age, Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd.
You got those. I'm good. You got me. I'm good.
Yeah, and I think this is maybe the only time I've ever seen Paul Rudd like not like absolutely shine in a movie.
Paul Rudd, if you hear this,
you're
Ryan.
great. You're great in everything else, but this one like
right,
he might be the best thing in the movie though. Still like. Such a disappointment.
Right.
And then my worst movie is Not Another Church Movie.
Oh, I didn't see that either.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't. It's absolute trash. It's the worst. Like, I feel like parody movies deserve like a chance to like be made still. Like the first 4 scary movies, I love all of them. I like Date Movie. I liked Epic Movie. I liked Meet the Spartans. Like, there's room in the world for like dumb humor or like to have movies spoof other movies. And I thought, you know what, maybe like parodies haven't like really made a big splash in such a long time. Like that if they're gonna start doing one again, they have to be putting some effort into it. And this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like hands down.
Dang.
And Jamie Foxx is in this movie.
Dang.
Academy Award
right,
winner.
you go from Spider-Man, Electro.
Yeah. Kyla Pratt is in this movie.
I don't know who that is.
She was the little girl in Dr. Dolittle, and she voices Penny Proud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was in Fat Albert, which I love that movie. But
Hey.
yeah, this movie I legit should have walked out on.
Have you seen Stan Helsing?
No.
Okay. You gotta watch that one day.
Ooh.
I own that.
I haven't seen Van Helsing either.
You've never seen Van Helsing?
No. I had the choice of seeing Van Helsing.
Or the Hulk?
I haven't seen the Hulk either.
Oh, I thought that's the one.
No.
Oh, okay.
I had the choice of seeing Van Helsing or The Day After Tomorrow, and I chose The Day After Tomorrow.
Well, that was a dumb.
And then I had the
pick.
choice of seeing Van Helsing because we ended up seeing two movies. After I saw The Day After Tomorrow, I had the choice of Van Helsing or Mean Girls, and I made the correct choice there.
You did.
I got to see Mean Girls.
Yes, you did.
My brother and dad saw Van Helsing and The Day After Tomorrow. I saw Day After Tomorrow and Mean Girls. I'm the winner. I win. I saw Mean Girls in theaters.
That's
and I was
great.
like 11.
That's awesome.
All right, but we're not talking about Mean Girls. But I think we've come to an ending, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first half of the year. I'm proud of myself. I have not seen this many movies in my entire life. I usually wait till they come out.
Many.
Yeah, but I in theater wise, like I've not been in a movie theater as much as I have, but it's been fun.
I like going to movie theaters because it forces me to pay attention to the movie a lot more. I find myself getting on my phone more at home, so I love the theatrical experience. I haven't gone as much this year as I did last year, but last year I kind of went sicko mode on going to the movies. But yeah, like, let us know what you think of their first episode of the podcast. Any suggestions? Anything you want us to talk about?
Right, you guys. This is
what were your favorite movies?
Yeah, favorite movies. Let us know. Again, this podcast is just our lives. This is us loving movies, loving scary movies,
loving each other.
We'll do a lot of things. We're gonna have guests on in the future. You know, it's gonna be fun.
But yeah, so I hope that your audience, likes this because you've worked hard to get your subscribers and the people that follow you, and I just want to say how much I admire you.
Aww.
And I love you.
I love you too, man.
All right, but I guess we're signing off. This has been Ryan and
Martin, the Martian Madhouse.
Mwahaha.
All right, take care. Ta-ta for now.